Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jones Podcast. I'm your host, Eric. The Jones Podcast is a podcast that acknowledges great individuals or couples who are entrepreneurs on the city council or who are just doing great things from our city of Tuscaloosa. Roll Tide. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the Jones Podcast. What's going on, Jones Podcast family? I have a very special woman on the podcast today, and I hear that her red velvet cake is to kill for. Miss Ayesia Lyles, the owner of Shuga Jane's Bakery. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So, for the people who don't know you, just tell the people about yourself.
Well, my government name is Ayesia Lyles. I go by Shuga Jane. That's what everybody knows me by. I've been in Tuscaloosa since I was 7 years old. I'm the oldest of 5 children. I have a full-time job, but I love to bake. I'm family-oriented, love the Lord. What else you want to know?
Whatever you want to tell me.
That's all I got.
Okay, then. Well, what inspired you to name it Shuga Jane's?
I used to bake when I was younger with my grandmother. I also baked with my mother, and my grandmother's name was Lyles Jane, and then my other grandmother's name was Priscilla Ash, but they call her Shug. So kind of just put that together, and I've had that name just for years, just the name, nothing to go with it, just the name.
You go by Shuga Jane's also, you said, right?
Yeah, I'm out and about, and I never hear my name.
Really?
I hear Shuga Jane. People call my job and ask for Shuga Jane.
Wow.
Yeah, so I guess I'm branded now.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
So at your bakery, what's your best-selling item?
The best-selling would be my pound cake bites. And all it is just pound cakes, but they're little bitty, so they have more of a flavor in them. The lemon comes out a lot stronger because they're so small. And they're like literally one bite. You just pop them in your mouth. People eat them like candy.
Now, I've been to a lot of bakeries. I've tasted a lot of food. You know, a lot of people, the big bakeries, the food will look good. It'll look great. But it doesn't taste that good. And some places, the food doesn't look that great, but it tastes awesome. So, in which way or another would you go?
Mine is more of a homemade style, so I think it looks good. It's not the fondant and all the decorations that you may find at a bakery, because I do focus more on taste. I'm working on the fancies, but right now for me, the taste is what stands out. Yeah. It's nothing like having a cake that you can eat. You don't really buy a cake to just look at. Mm-hmm. And I have seen a lot of cakes that have been gorgeous, but the little sheet cake on the side that was made by a grandmama is the one that's gone first.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
So that's my focus.
So what's your favorite story or experience about owning your own bakery?
I guess my favorite experience would be that I was actually at an event where my cake bites were like kind of the side dish, but they had the big cake there, and my side dish went before the big cake did. That kind of did a little bit for my self-esteem, because even though I bake the same things and sometimes I have the same customers, I still have this little anxiety about making sure that it's okay and waiting for that call back. Hey, that was good. Even though I know I make it the same way every time, you still have that little bit in the back of your head where you have a question, mm-hmm. and you want to be sure that it is exactly right. So for something like that to happen for somebody that's done it for so long, and it was like a big, flashy cake, and you're expecting it to be it, and I'm expecting my stuff to be sitting on the side, and it wasn't really like that.
Okay, so when you bake, do you bake everything the same way each time?
I try to, yeah. Every once in a while, I'll veer. That's why I try not to talk on the phone or watch TV or whatever while I'm doing it. So sometimes I will, may leave something out or may pick up almond instead of lemon. It works, so I just give it another name. It'll be something different.
Okay.
But I try to make each one. I write everything down and try to make sure that I do repeat the recipes the same. Yeah.
Okay. So what is your biggest challenge in owning your own bakery?
Time. Because I do work full-time. Yes. And sometimes I do forget that I do have a full-time job. I work Monday through Friday, so like holidays are hard. We just had Thanksgiving, and it was very successful. I did more than I have ever done. I didn't have much sleep. I was running off pure adrenaline because it was over with. I literally crashed. I went nowhere. I didn't hang out for Thanksgiving, no eating with family, no nothing, Thanksgiving. And so that's my biggest challenge is time because I want to get it all done. And I have a hard time saying no also. So even though I know I only have time for 20 cakes, I may take that extra 2 cakes because somebody asked.
How long does it take you to make 20 cakes?
It just depends on the cake.
Okay.
Like a pound cake, I can do in my sleep. Like literally, that's my thing. I can do in my sleep. I can put 2 in the oven and I can go on to mix with something else. Now, frosting the cake is a little different because you bake them, you got to wait on them to cool, you got to make frosting. So it just really depends on the cake and how much energy I have.
You do wedding cakes also?
I have not done an official like fondant wedding cake, but I did have someone order a cake and she wanted pound cake. She insisted that it was pound cake, and I told her, I don't really do the fancy cake. She told me just do what I come up with. So I did her a 3-tier pound cake, and she loved it. It was like a big pound cake with a smaller one on top and a smaller one on top of that, and she loved it. Glazed it, got, rave reviews. People asked questions about it. So that was my first time doing that. I do plan to get into it, but like I said, time has been a factor.
Yeah, time. Yeah, I understand that when it comes to the time. We need more time in the day, if you ask me.
I find something else to do with it. you fill it up no matter how much time you have. But I'm getting better with organizing and with my time. So as far as, prioritizing and making sure I try to schedule out in the week that I know I have to bake this, then I need to make sure I get this done and out of the way. And so I try to do better about it. I've gotten a lot better.
So with you having a full-time job in a bakery, if someone wanted a special cake baked from you, what kind of time frame would you give them?
It would depend on what kind of cake it is. If it's just like a regular red velvet pound cake or something like that, usually I prefer 48 to 72 hours time just because it doesn't take that long to bake it, but anything can happen. I've had cakes that I've finished with the cake and it's split in half, or for some reason this day the cake wants to cook faster than usual and it may burn. So you have to allow time for, incidents that may occur.
So when you start your bakery, what was the hardest thing, other than time, to get it started?
I think the hardest thing was confidence. That was the hardest thing. My biggest thing was like, I'm not really with what you consider the in crowd. I don't hang out a lot, so I didn't feel like a lot of people knew me or would support me because I wasn't, the friend of everybody or knew everybody, hung with everybody. So I thought that was going to be an issue for me, and it really wasn't. It wasn't. More people were supportive than I expected. And it kind of, it made me more eager to do it. I was kind of timid at first, but I got over that. That was the hardest thing for me.
Yeah, I understand that. Trust me. I understand that. It's like me with this podcast.
Yeah, but you have to realize that what's for you is for you. Yeah. And that people will support the good things.
If someone came to you and they wanted to start a bakery, what advice would you give them?
Surround themselves with people that support. And I don't mean like necessarily financially support. I mean someone that's going to push you, someone that's going to tell you, hey, you need to pick it up, someone that's going to be honest with you and let you know that your product is not right, you need to fix this, you need to redo it, somebody that's going to motivate you, somebody that's going to stay on your behind. Mm-hmm. That's going to be the biggest thing for you, for anybody, is somebody in your corner. That, faith, prayer. I pray a lot before I go in the kitchen. I pray while I'm in the kitchen because I know anything can go wrong. I can forget something. So that and prayer is going to be your biggest thing.
I agree. So before we get out of here, do you have any shout outs you want to give to anyone or anything like that?
Shout outs. I'd like to thank my family for their support, my fiance for his support, his family, my church family, and I'd like to encourage anybody that is sitting on a dream, do it. You can't do anything but either go up or go down. If you're at the bottom, there's nowhere to go but up. So if you get stuck, keep going. Just don't stop. Always keep pushing. If you get tired, take a break and start back up again. Never lose that drive.
Yeah. Having a full-time bakery and that being your full-time job, that is your dream.
That is my dream.
Yeah, let's go. It's going to come to fruition. Yeah.
It is.
It is. Well, Shuga Jane, I appreciate you coming on the pod with me. I know you said you were a little bit under the weather, so I didn't want to hold you too long. because I can get long-winded.
Well, thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem, man.
Thank you for having me.
I'm going to have to come and get some of that red velvet cake because that's like my favorite cake. And everybody says that yours is like the best in town, so I got to try it. So, yeah.
But just let me know. That's the one that takes the most effort. That's the cake I had that fell apart. Yeah, because they're so moist. And I tend to get anxious before they're cooled and want to flip it. And it's not quite ready to flip and it's split in half and I have to start over. So it's a learning process. But I'll be glad to do it.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. And I appreciate you coming on the pod. And you have a blessed night.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you for listening to the Jones Podcast. You can find us on iTunes or Google Play or wherever you listen to your podcast. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the Jones Podcast.